The plan is overturned. Erica had been standing near them for quite some time, listening to their conversation, which unsettled Zanina. But after a while, she noticed Erica moving slowly and steadily toward the window. All three of them were curious to find out what had captured her intense gaze. Derek, despite his weakness, tried to rise, while the two young ladies got up from their seats and approached the window to see what was happening. They saw a man, but before they could determine who he was, Erica grabbed a sack that had been left near the fireplace, opened the front door, and shouted as she moved toward him, "Joshua!" The instant they recognized the mysterious young man as Joshua, the two sisters rushed after Erica, calling her name in alarm. But Erica and Joshua were already gone, and before they could stop them, they had vanished without a trace. Zanina and Eva walked a little farther from the house in an attempt to solve the mystery, but after a while, they decided it was best to return. Zanina thought it was a bad sign that Joshua had appeared without their father, while Eva grew terrified at the tragic absence of Hawk, expressing her fear aloud. "Zanina, what are we going to do? If father never returns, what will become of us?" "I can't understand why they left Derek behind. There must be an explanation, or something happened that changed their plans. Father may have escaped, or maybe he didn't. Another problem is that we don't have enough food in storage, and we have no money except for a few of my savings. And Derek is sick. Should we wait for him to recover, or turn him over to the police?" Zanina spoke in a low voice, sighing and gesturing anxiously as they walked back to the house. Though she tried to remain calm, she was on the verge of succumbing to the difficulty of the situation until Eva shared something to reassure her. "Do you remember when Father whispered something in my ear before those criminals forcibly took him away? I felt relieved by his words when he told me to stay strong and start anew. A fresh start, overflowing with wealth, his hidden fortune lay just within reach, tucked away in the secrecy of his room." Excitement surged through her, a giddy thrill at the thought of a new life. But Zanina swiftly shattered her sister's elation. Her voice, sharp as broken glass, cut through the moment. "No," she murmured, her expression darkening. "It's not that simple. We can't use stolen money. It would be dishonorable. We both know the money doesn't belong to Father. For now, we have our own savings, and if they ever run out, I will work." But before she could continue, the memory of her father's departure flooded her mind. She could still see him, his eyes distant, staring into the void as he spoke, with a heaviness in his voice. She clenched her fist and continued, "I will remember the moment they left, and I will never forgive myself for not saying goodbye. Whatever his past may be, I know very well that he loves us. For his sake, we will stay united and make sure he returns safely home." Immediately, she looked at Eva, seeking her approval, asking, "Do you agree, Eva?" "More than anything else in the world," Eva answered, her voice steady, her nerves calming as she realized how much better Zanina could handle difficult situations. When they finally arrived at the house, Eva hurried to open the door, but Zanina stopped her, intent on verifying their decisions. She whispered, "Careful not to be overheard by Derek. If the food runs out, I'll take the carriage to the town centre to buy whatever we need." Eva didn't disagree, but there was a far-off look in her eyes as if something else troubled her mind. In the end, are we going to turn Derek in? He's sick and he could die. If we go to the local police, they won't believe us. If we go to the English army, we'll have to betray everyone, even Derek. Otherwise, we'll be charged with conspiracy and aiding criminals. We'll wait a few more hours, just in case we hear from Father, Joshua, Erica, or Jim? Eva began to lose her confidence in her sister's decisions, the weight of the situation pressing down on her. But after a moment, she straightened her shoulders and spoke with determination. "I'm scared and confused, but I will stay strong." Zanina felt proud of Eva's heroic heart, smiled, and opened the door to let them into the house. Derek had remained lying near the fireplace, asking to know what had happened, hiding his own suspicions about something they had discussed with Joshua in the past. Eva walked toward him to inform him, accompanied by Zanina. Joshua came. Erica saw him from afar, grabbed a bag, and they fled without us learning anything about our father. "It seems you're alone now." Without hiding his suspicions any longer, Derek spoke with a weakened voice. "The son came to save the mother. Their plans didn't go as they wanted. They exploited my illness and left me behind. I might be wrong, but what makes me insist on this idea is a conversation we had with Joshua in the past. That is, if anything happened, anything contrary to our plans, we would retreat and not risk being captured unless we had to rescue a member of our organization. I repeat, I might be wrong because Jim hasn't shown up either. And the son, meaning Joshua, came to save his mother, Erica? Then, who is the father, Derek?" Zanina asked desperately. "His father is who you might think, Hawk. His father is our father? The son, whom he constantly avoided talking about, is Joshua." Zanina couldn't believe what she was hearing and sat down on the floor, murmuring, "This can't be true. Joshua, Hawk's son, was it all a game from the beginning?" Eva approached, trying to reassure her. "For so many years, they hid from us the existence of a brother run of the criminals. I am convinced that father is a hypocrite, and Erica is A." Since she couldn't find the ability to think of a word to describe Erica, she remained motionless and silent, not even making the effort to reassure her sister, who had started crying and shouting, "Old Erica is to blame for everything. If it weren't for her, our mother would be here now, protecting us. Zanina, I'm so scared." Zanina covered her ears, trying to convince herself that Derek was lying. But when she looked at him, she noticed in his eyes that he was telling the truth. She stood up and embraced Eva tenderly, hoping to give her a sense of hope here. Hope she had lost the day their father left and had since been missing from her heart. "My dear, I'm afraid too, but this time we are on our own, and we will have to prove our worth now as women." These were Zanina's only words to Eva, while Derek continued to stare blankly, realizing he should say something to lift the young lady's spirits. "Your father doesn't know about his son's existence and treats Joshua like an ordinary thief. Joshua, on the other hand, is fully aware of his father's identity because Erica revealed her secret to him when he was still a young child. She fed her son with hatred for many years, and since then, they have always sought an opportunity to take revenge on Hawkand, as it seems. They have achieved their goal. However, Derek had something far more pressing to ask something concerning himself. So in the end, will you turn me in to justice?" Before Derek realized that he had said more than he should have, and at the worst possible moment, Eva responded to his question with a sarcastic tone. "There is no reason not to turn you in. You bear a great share of the responsibility. Or better yet, why shouldn't we kill you for the suffering you and your friends have brought upon us?" Zanina immediately interrupted her, trying to calm her down. "We are not murderers, Eva. We will think about what to do, and everything will be fine." In the end, they decided not to take any action for the time being, fearing they might be the cause of their father's death, if any new information came to light. As the hours passed, their anxiety grew stronger. That evening, after they had eaten and finished their household chores, Eva returned to her embroidery, which she had neglected for several days. Meanwhile, Zanina began feeling increasingly guilty about Derek's condition. His fever was rising dangerously, and she warned her sister that at any moment Derek could pass into the next world. Suddenly, despite his weakness, Derek spoke. "Thank you for not turning me in when you had the chance. We have no other choice. If we act rashly, they will kill our father. They are dangerous people. They have no emotions, just as you don't." Eva's negative reaction was obvious, so Derek turned to Zanina, hoping for a more favorable response. "Do you think God will call me to heaven tonight? Ask for your sins to be forgiven, Derek." Zanina replied unwillingly, her mind still occupied with thoughts of Joshua, their brother. Everything would have been different if he had lived with them all these years. Her thoughts were interrupted when Derek said, "I'll keep that in mind, miss." Meanwhile, the exhausted Eva bid her sister goodnight and went to her room to rest. Derek fell asleep so quickly that Zanina was startled, but she soon realized he was still breathing. Thinking it wise to stay by his side in case something unfortunate happened, she sat next to him until sleep eventually overtook her as well. Morning came quickly, and Derek's weakened voice woke Zanina, who had fallen asleep near him. "Miss Zanina, I feel better thanks to your care. I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching your sweet face. I think it's time for you to turn me in to the authorities before your father arrives, because I'm certain he won't like the idea of you keeping me here without protection." Zanina didn't pay much attention to his words, but simply replied, "I'm glad you're feeling better, Derek. What we do is our concern, and the best thing you can do is continue to rest." Seeing that his words had no impact, Derek unexpectedly closed his eyes as if bidding his final farewell. Zanina still felt uneasy and uncertain about the future. Their father had been missing for 2 days, and they had received no news from anyone. She didn't know how to handle Derek, and she had to take responsibility for her sister's future. So many thoughts raced through her mind until she gazed sorrowfully out the window, realizing it was time to share something important with Eva. "I wonder if she's awake," Zanina murmured to herself, but Eva's voice interrupted her. "Zanina!" Eva called out, coming down the stairs to greet her sister. She had woken up moments ago and was ready for an important day. "Eva, before you say a word, know that my mind is made up. Soon I will leave this house to gather supplies from the town, and I will seek help someone who can aid us in finally putting an end to this ordeal." Eva was stunned by her sister's sudden decision, but before she could comment, Derek opened his eyes and warned, "They will kill your father if he is still alive. You cannot take that risk. If they find out you spoke to the military or the police, they will eliminate every obstacle in their way. And before they kill themselves, they will kill you first. No fortune is worth losing yourselves or your father. Don't worry about yourself, Derek. Once you recover, I promise we will give you a second chance," Zanina said determinedly. But Eva grabbed her hand tightly and whispered in her ear, warning her, "Zanina, have you lost your mind? This man is responsible for everything, and you want to help him. Please, come to your senses and don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. People don't change. As our father will change, so can Derek," Zanina insisted. Eva stood speechless and motionless as Zanina stepped outside, made her way to the stable, and with some effort pulled open the heavy door. Finding the horses calm, she hitched them to the carriage and set off toward the town. Before reaching her destination, she was fortunate to come across one of her father's friends, Leante, a local resident who spoke some English. She asked him to accompany her to the town, and he agreed, assisting her in purchasing the food she needed. A few hours later, they returned home together. As they approached the house, Zanina urged Leante to gather detailed information on the ships departing for England. He assured her he would and offered his help whenever the family needed it. After reminding her where to find him, he took his leave. Zanina headed straight to the stable to unhitch and rest the horses. After the events of the past few hours, she felt a sense of relief comforted by the unexpected encounter that had come at just the right time. Yet, a pang of regret settled in. She scolded herself for not asking Leante for more help when she had the chance and for leaving Eva alone with Derek.